They were gorgeous, strong, and I was like, oh my gosh, you can kill me, and you are beautiful. And I love that.
All you, Milan.
What?
If you want to start with the 420 review.
Oh, you're not gonna like say anything? Just like, all right.
All right. Netflix is buying Warner Brothers. I did see Wake Up Dead Man 20 times, which without confirming, it probably is the next one because it's dropping Friday at the time of recording. But in the meantime, we're in the land of the Woman King, Viola Davis. The best part of the Suicide Squad, the most unenthusiastic part of Black Adam because they knew it was trash. But who cares about all that? This wonderful, magnificent, hopefully Oscar winning, that's the one thing I didn't Google before this, actress is at the center of The Woman King, inspired by true events, but characters outside of the king are created for the story. And now we're starting with the 420 reviews, unless what?
0 Oscar wins or nominations.
I'm going to be back in 30 minutes and I'll smell like lighter fluid. No one will be asking any questions.
That's wild. Anyway, sorry.
Milan, the stage is yours.
Okay, so my 420 review. Women warriors kicking butt. Young girls admire them. Oh no. Young girls admire them. Men fear or worship. Lost daughter now found. Death to slave trade.
Brad?
First hour 15 exposition. Last 45 minutes cinema. Who needs palm oil? Scene surprise mile away. Wish ending was longer.
Burn the evil down. Never stop fighting it. We're stronger together. Praise the Woman King. Redacted. Will you dance? Don't want to spoil something, but that was my favorite line of the film. But for a movie that was released on September 16th, 2022, one day before my birthday, and with a $50 million box office, mind you, this is in fresh post-COVID, grossing $97.6 million, 67.3 of which were domestic. It was written by Dana Stevens with a story by Maria Bello and Dana Stevens and directed by Gina Prince Bythewood. This is The Woman King. Thoughts? What did y'all think?
I mean, overall, I thought it was really good. I wish they would have expanded on some things. Some things they kind of drew out a little bit longer than I think they kind of needed to, but I wish they would have expanded on certain things that we'll get into the spoiler section. But overall, it was really good. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't seen this movie up until this point. So,
Well,
overall, I actually did really enjoy it. There were definitely minor annoyances, like how they decided to introduce certain important elements of the story. I was like, it was just kind of like, that was kind of annoying. But like overall, I really enjoyed the movie. The actors and like the way that they portrayed the culture and like how much depth they put into, like how much you can tell, like how much work they put into trying to at least make that part of it as authentic as possible. And I really appreciated that. So that really did make a good portion of it, not a good portion of it, the movie as a whole, really enjoyable.
Nice. Yeah, this was really good. I love seeing Viola Davis and John Boyega play together. Also, I don't know everyone's name, but Lashana Lynch in there, who was in the last James Bond film, also in the, what was it, The Hunt for the Jackal that we watched?
Oh, yep.
Brad?
The TV show.
Or Night of the Jackal. She was in the Captain Marvel. There's something else I was going to say, but I just also realized that the director of this film wrote Love and Basketball and also directed a Netflix film called The Old Guard with Charlize Theron a couple of years before this one, which was pretty good. Pretty good.
Bob Marley, One Love. She was Rita Marley in that movie, so that's
nice.
Pretty important. The Marvel, she was in Doctor Strange.
Cameoed as Captain Marvel.
Yep, Captain Marvel. Those are the big ones that are jumping out to me right this second.
And also, I don't know her name, but the mayor from The Batman. And she was also in something recently that I saw, but I'm blanking. She was the antagonistic wife of John Boyega's character. But really great range, considering I don't think until this rewatch I was like, oh shit, she's the same person. Because it just had such different energy. But it tackles a kingdom in Africa who fight to stop all slave trade in the continent. And at least from what the film told me, they were like the first step into achieving that.
I'm going to preface and just kind of ask Chris, and I'm going to say, kind of.
Be sure, yeah.
Well, when you say slap slave trade, I'm going to put that's where I'm going to put the asterisks.
Yeah, they were a part of it, if that's the asterisk you're talking about. I think the last king.
The king kind of didn't want to stop, and then we're kind of getting into a little bit of spoiler territory, but kind of not. But he didn't really want to stop it because he enjoyed being the wealth and riches, because he had the option to like completely switch over to palm oil and kind of chose not to.
He wanted to, but at the time there was like an overarching tribe that wanted like what is it? Just money or bribes to be safe.
And
they would need a little bit of time to really maximize or get the palm oil trade up to even potentially survive. So if he wanted to kick the can down the road 1 year just as a give us time, let us be fully prepared, so it's not, I guess, jumping the gun. But some guns are worth jumping.
Yeah, and then he also kind of complained though too that like if they got out of the slave trade, that would make them weaker, and that would make them more susceptible to being part of the slave trade. So I mean, I'm just saying like the king is not entirely innocent in this scenario, but like the women obviously are the ones that are going to be involved in the slave trade more through this movie. We're definitely against it, 100%.
Yeah.
We didn't see too many. Did we see very, very many men in the slave trade that weren't running the slave trade?
Not people with really lines, I would say. I think there were some around.
I think there were a couple in the cage, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. We also, I think, have some elements which I think could be argued be more Disney Pocahontas, where there's at this very specific weekend or whatever, there's a guy who used to live there, and he's coming as like I come from the new world, but coming back to home, and they have like a little romance that happens over the weekend or week, however long this conflict takes. It was interesting when that would be spoilers.
Yeah, we can start getting there. We're definitely heading that way anyway.
Yeah. Positive, negative. I actually think it would be probably a good idea to do our dope rating before spoilers, if anyone doesn't want to go there. But do you know what your rating of this film would be? I think mine was a mushroom. Really good.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm going to go with mushroom.
I'm going to write down the dope meter eventually. I'm going to tattoo it on my arm just so it'd be like...
Yes. Just the emojis. Ayahuasca, mushroom, edible, joint, skunky, poison, Molly.
So ayahuasca, mushroom. What was the one?
Edible.
I'm going to go mushroomly edible because there's a few small things I'd want to see changed, but overall I think the movie's great.
Nice. So we'll get into spoilers now. 3, 2, 1. The thing I was going to say is it is interesting at the end where he sees the light and like just fully throws his friend. Well, who cares? It's not his friend. He saw that he would be betrayed by him at a moment's notice, but the person he came with, he threw him, quote unquote, to the wolves. The slaver who played like he was altruistic or whatever, or one of the nice slavers. But yeah, at the end of the day, what'd y'all think of the shark tooth?
I saw that from 6 miles away. I knew that she was going to have that she was going to be like the daughter of somebody, or like she was going to be like somehow related to somebody. I just didn't. I probably could have guessed Viola Davis just because she would have been like the right age compared to everybody else. Everybody else felt younger, but like for the actually be a shark tooth back there, like in her back and stuff like that, I obviously couldn't have known something like that. But especially with her having Viola Davis' character having like the PTSD from when she was captured the first time.
Yeah.
And which is why she had such a revenge arc for Boyu. Was it
Oba Adi?
Yeah,
it's OBA space ADE.
I mean, which is why she had such a revenge for that guy. But
yeah, and then I looked up the person I forgot. I saw her in The Running Man. What do you think, Milan? I think both times have been long enough. I forgot about the twist, but definitely forgot about the shark tooth.
So, I mean, I agree in that I definitely saw... Oh.
Nice. He's back.
You here? Okay. I definitely saw, like, the relationship or whatever itself kind of coming. I wasn't expecting it necessarily to be a Viola Davis's character, though. So that part was kind of like, oh, okay. That's what I was saying. Like, part of what I didn't like about this film is how they decided to give certain pieces of information to push the story along. Like there were some parts of it where it felt like, okay, why did you decide to present that information in that way? And this is kind of one of those. I do like the impactfulness of it because it kind of shows just like how traumatic her experience was. And like this was a semi-traumatic way for her to discover that was her daughter. And I don't mean for Viola Davis' character, but for her daughter. Because like to have somebody pull a shark tooth out of your shoulder, that's a, WTF moment. So like that I can understand. I think that was like really well done. I just really didn't like the build up to that point. I feel like they could have done it in a much smoother way than what they did.
Like what kind of build up? The breadcrumbs of like I've been adopted and everything.
Exactly, like how they presented that information was just so random, and it wasn't random in a way that felt like, oh, that was natural. That flows with the story. It was just kind of like, wait, what? And then wait, what? And then like, oh, okay, I get it. Like that's so it just didn't really feel like it flowed the way it should have.
So like maybe present the idea earlier in the movie that she was an orphan, that wasn't her real dad. Have Viola Davis after the trials find the bump in her back or the scar in her back and like put it together but not put it together, and then have them get together later, whether it be that pool scene or somewhere else, and like have her like PTSD like bring it back into her mind, and then kind of like for her to piece it together instead of like the jarringness of like she knew everything right there as soon as she saw the scar, but then didn't tell anybody and just like ran away and then got drunk, I would imagine, in the pool because she seemed.
Do you think she saw the scar immediately and knew it was her daughter?
Yeah, because when she was.
Wasn't that much later?
When she was patting her after the trials where she had to go through the thorns and she was getting the thorns picked out of her. That was when she saw the scar on the back, and then she just like immediately like basically hightailed it out of there because she knew everything right there. Where it would have been better if she would have like recognized it but didn't understand why, and then because I had the same thing. It was just like that was just like snap, and it was just like kind of felt weird and not smooth.
Fair enough. I forgot to ask, was there Bradley Cooper's trivia? Okay, good.
No, surprisingly, I was looking and there was not a whole lot of trivia besides they trained for 4 months and then Viola Davis mocked her fighting stance after a boxer. And I don't remember what boxer it was, but that was about it.
Viola Davis mocked someone's fighting stance?
Yeah, female boxer's fighting stance.
Oh, okay, because she knew better at that point?
I would imagine so. She's a boxer. I would imagine any boxer would probably know how to fight better than I would. So.
Oh, boxers mocked Viola Davis's stance. Oh, I thought you said Viola Davis was mocking boxers. I was like, what?
Yeah, she was mocking a boxing stance from a specific boxer. I don't remember which one off the top of my head for her stance in the movie.
Oh, like she was recreating it. I thought you said she was making fun of it.
No.
I was so confused. Okay.
Simulating.
Gotcha. Okay.
Another word.
Copying. Okay. I was so confused. I was like, why? I was like, okay, I guess boxers can mock her stance because she's an actress. She had 4 months. But then I was like, wait, why would she mock them? Unless she got like really great in 4 months. Okay. All right. All caught up.
The only other thing that I don't want to say I had a problem with the movie. The only other thing that I would want to add is at the end of the movie when they kind of did like that like time lapse or the time jump real quick. I wish we would have seen more of them getting out of the slave trade or like how their people progressed over the time of her as the equal king. Because I guess that's kind of like the title she got promoted to, where she was an equal ruler with the king, which is why they called her woman king and not queen. Yeah, because they wanted to make sure they made sure that they were on equal footing.
A tradition that had been done away with by the previous king.
Oh, which is brother or his dad or
his dad. Yeah.
So I wish we would have seen more of like her ruling and like making the positive changes. And this could have been like a time lapse of them getting out of the slave trade or like muscling other tribes out of the slave trade, getting into palm oil or other things, like seeing that. Instead, we kind of got like a time lapse of like, or not really a lapse, but like a snap from like Viola Davis younger to older. She had like white hair or white in her hair, and like they snapped their clothes from like their warrior outfit to more colorful dresses and stuff like that. I wish we would have seen more of that transition instead of just that snap 1-2.
I wonder, every time I hear like some basic screenwriting suggestion or whatever, it's always like finish your movie as fast as possible at the end. That's why The Matrix wraps up like 3 seconds. But I think this would have been a rare instance. If that's why they didn't do that, it would be better to go with your idea and actually give it that, even if it's just 1 to 2 minutes in a montage, like you're saying.
It could have been a montage, really. I mean, it didn't need to be super long because you went from her being a warrior to all of a sudden her having white in her hair, not necessarily white hair, but white in her hair. And like, you didn't really get to see the effects that she positively made. We just kind of have to presume it based on the warriors are no longer warriors. They seem more like women having fun in a group. Well, I mean, they were dancing to traditional music.
Mother, will you dance?
Yeah.
I did love that the mother and daughter were the two people to go against the plan at the shipyard or whatever it was, the dock.
On the first fight?
Yeah, when Viola Davis wanted to kill her captor.
The first time.
Yeah. Yeah, not the sneaky sneak, let's get everybody out. Oh, and Lashana Lynch unbreaking her arm. Whew. She was about to give up. What else do you want to talk about?
What was the guy's name? He was the son of somebody who owned a printing press or something, right?
Yeah, his name was
his dad was white, but his mom was a part of the tribe.
Malik.
Yeah, no, yeah. So him. So, but his dad was a printer or something like that, right? Something to involve with letters and books and whatnot. I got the very distinct vibe that he was like the artistic writer type. So like that's what I was getting based off of like, you know, him talking about his dad and the type of work he did or whatever. So I was really annoyed that like his presence there meant absolutely nothing by the end of the film. Like it meant absolutely nothing. Like they don't show like him going back and talking about slavery or anything like that. He's just gone.
He went back, changed. I think they implied that they hooked up. I mean, he changed enough to push the white guy off the boat. I actually love that they didn't imply anything there. They left it completely open to, I think, the viewer's interpretation when it came to what happened. And they were both disrobed, right? Essentially.
Yes, but they were in different rooms. So why would he knock on the door and ask to come in if they had just been together?
Okay. That's fair.
So I feel like they left that very open to interpretation because there's a lot of repercussions to that. Like if she did, that completely changes her character, especially when it comes to her role as one of the women. Like she should no longer be a fighter. It's one thing with Viola Davis's character because she was raped. It's another thing when you purposely go against the vow you just made, or it's that she didn't do anything and she stuck true to her vow. And that's why she didn't go with him on the beach. So, I mean, it could go either way. I like to think that nothing happened. And that was her thing of being like, no, this is who I am.
Yeah, I forgot that he had to knock on the door. Knowing that, I don't think they hooked up. I just thought like, whoa, that's so subtle that you just came back, I don't know, an hour later and you both have a shirt off essentially. But yeah, you're right. Handsome abs though. Handsome abs. Gotta show them off.
I look like that when I take my shirt off too. So just in case
I can vouch. Don't ask Brad how I know, because he doesn't know I do. Actually, yes, he does. I don't want to imply that I'm a creeper.
I would say Malik is probably like one of the weakest characters in this movie. Like I wish they could have expanded a little bit more on him too. Of him like maybe having that struggle between the two worlds of wanting to go back to his homeland from where his mother was born and all that and was sold from. And then also like, I don't know, because I think they were from Brazil. They spoke Portuguese, but I think he said Brazil in the movie. But to have that terror, that struggle didn't really seem like much of a struggle. He knew where she needed to be. And then he was just like, all right, have fun. I'll just jump on this boat.
I do love that when they talk about the Portuguese and John Boyega's king says, speak my language, even though it is very, let's not risk subtitles ruining the box office by having everyone speak English. He switches over to English. So you kind of get to sit there and put two and two together and be like, oh, okay, all right, I like that. But small touches like that make this. Just comparing the slave trade aspect of that in this movie to 12 Years a Slave, and just the parallels. But yeah, this is a good one. Anything else you want to talk about with regards to The Woman King?
The action scenes were really good. I think they did a really good job of portraying each action scene, even when the I forgot what her name was, the main protagonist.
Oh, the younger Naui.
How she starts off, and then how her fighting style grows throughout the movie.
Oh yeah. This rope. What is this rope?
Yeah, this rope is that weapon. I'm gonna take this rope and like tie it to my dagger or the sword that I want. It's like a whip with a rope on the end of it, or with a sword at the end of it. So her fighting stance kind of throughout the movie, I thought was a cool progression to see that. Going through the trials were pretty cool. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of the training, another minute or two maybe, of kind of like their training progressions and kind of like them bonding as a unit. But other than that, I mean, I'm nitpicking at this point for things that I would just tweak a little bit, but I mean.
Yeah, talking to y'all about it now, it's reminding me of this quote I heard when Neil Druckmann, the main person behind The Last of Us and Uncharted 4, was talking to the creator of God of War. The creator of God of War said, simple story, complicated characters. And that's kind of what this is reminding me of. Like, I'm sure it was so much more complicated back in the actual situation, and not as I don't know, open to a general audience in terms of everything. But even using the Naui to tell that one girl to roll off because she wasn't connected, just very direct, simple but really good storytelling on display.
I really appreciated that. Like, when you have films and things like that where you're portraying a woman who's meant to be like physically strong, especially someone who's physically strong on the same level as like a man, they're usually portrayed in a very masculine type of way. I really appreciated that they did this film to where they showed the strength of women without taking any of their femininity away. Ooh, I hate that word. And like they were all just gorgeous. They were gorgeous, strong, and I was like, oh my gosh, you can kill me and you are beautiful. And I love that. Like, you just don't get that in a lot of things. I really appreciated that throughout the entire film, because like you kept feeling it. Like no matter what they were doing, they didn't let it take away from that part of it, and I felt like that was fairly intentional. So that was awesome.
Yeah, like moving away from the Sarah Connor ideal of killer women. Like it's moved farther away from that, where instead of just being I chew cigarettes for breakfast, and that makes me a really great killer, this balances both. Yeah, that's a very good point. I know there's a debate around that when the first two Wonder Woman films were coming out, because James Cameron kind of threw shots when they were releasing Terminator Dark Salvation, or I don't know, didn't work. He's like, yeah, those pretty Wonder Woman films, we're gonna show them what really rocks. It's like, hey, you can have a variety or a spectrum. Well, but the last one we did was Glass Onion, right?
Yes.
Was The Woman King better than Glass Onion?
This is like comparing like
apples and oranges.
A football player to a soccer player, just like not the same. Like
onions and knives.
Onions. It's like onion and knife.
Well, it's gonna bring tears, so gotta slice those onions.
I don't think it's fair. Okay, you go first.
Yeah, I think Woman King is probably objectively the better movie.
Milan?
I mean, my vote is also going to be The Woman King. But again, I don't think it's quite fair to compare these two, because I'm also not, like I said, I'm also not a huge, apparently, whodunit movie fan.
Sure. So. Yeah, I think I'll be the odd man out, because The Woman King, oh man, it's really good. It's really like, it's right there and it's so satisfying. But especially on the rewatch and just thinking about it, letting it gestate for a couple weeks, I do see I'll be overusing the word or overemphasizing this, but the Disneyfication of the story, as in like you have these elements and these elements here, and that's how we do the story. I could see that not lasting as many rewatches, where it's like, all right, okay. But I think like not to a huge degree. I am overemphasizing that a little bit, but while Glass Onion, I'm sure, can get broken down a little more or critiqued a little more, it just went in a more unique direction relative to other things. So I'll just go Glass Onion just by a hair, because this one can be compared to a lot of other stories. However, I don't want to minimize that this story told this way is so rarely done for women or African American women or like stories in Africa. So it's more like I've seen this type of storytelling in a bunch of different films, just not with this topic. So that's not me trying to throw shots. But yeah. All right. So
main character is probably next.
Main character? What?
The main character
is probably next. I'm just confused.
Well, I was comparing the main characters. Who's the better main character? I think would probably be the next step, which is again, one of those things that are just like, again, comparing apples to oranges. But we would be comparing probably Viola Davis to
Janelle Monáe.
No, I was thinking Blanc.
Of the Benoit Blanc movies, this one definitely has the Glass Onion definitely had the most. You're kind of the main character, but like I know Ryan Johnson said, it's always been important for him that it's never Benoit Blanc fully as the main character. It's the main character doing the final thing, like in Knives Out, getting Ransom to admit in Glass Onion, Helen beating him at his own game. But yeah, that's more for, I think, do you want to compare them? Because that's more a rank about that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that would be like the next step of just like how to compare those two movies together. Like, again, comparing apples and oranges. Yeah. Not even close.
I do want to say before we wrap up and do the whole exit, I definitely have been changing the angle dynamically consistently throughout. Definitely not the last 30 seconds when I just remembered that I should be doing that with this fancy meld layout. But, you know, most of all, we just got to say it may be a mushroom, it may be a mushroom, or maybe a mushroomy edible. But at the end of the day, the Woman King is dope because movies are dope.
Bye-bye now.
I'm living in a movie, there's a scene you gotta jump. I got my people at the viewing who all knew me selling tickets. Yeah, they're talking about the beauty. I see Scorsese outside saying this isn't cinema. Free man, I ain't doing shit tomorrow, I don't need plans. I'll be kicking it till April off for $3 grand. I don't even need the money, I just need fans.